Hello, children. Oh, hello, boys and girls, mums and dads, and grandmas and grandpas, and even great-grandparents. Oh, it's so good to see you all again. Oh, it's been ages since we've seen you. We've missed you so much. That's why we want to welcome you back and get together again. Oh, hang on a minute, who's that? It's Barbara! That's strange. She's been sitting in front of the computer screen all day. I wonder if something happened. Let's go see what happened.
It was impossible for Barbara to get away from the computer that day. Just like yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. You're probably very familiar with that situation. But there are days when it's almost on purpose. You think that quarantine could have ended much worse. After all, it could have disconnected the internet. And by the way, this day, the internet disappeared. Barbara looked for it for a long time. She checked everywhere. Under the table, in the kitchen presses, in the closet, everywhere. Without finding the internet, but without losing faith, Barbara decided to go for a walk. She walked and walked, counting the trees, saying hello to all the little dogs she met along the way. She didn't notice that she'd already reached the forest. Now, because our Barbara is a brave girl, you know, she once even persuaded a spider not to spin a cobweb in the bathroom. She took a step and sunk into the dense forest. The shelter of the trees led her along the forest path, and the sound of peace reminded her of eating porridge with strawberries in the morning. Her legs sank into the breathtaking moss, the ancient history, and the century-old spruce sang songs in a long-forgotten language. Birds flocked together and belted out songs as if they were participating in the Voice of Lithuania concert. Barbara wanted to listen to them all. Suddenly, a pine cone fell under her feet, waking her from her dizziness. As you can understand, Barbara got lost. But the place Barbara found herself in was something impressive, inexplicably majestic and extraordinary. Our hero could not get rid of the thoughts that the very land on which she stood was soaked in ancient Irish legends and stories. And as you know, we are the "and then incredible thing happened" people. So of course, the same thing was happening now.
Well, hello, Darla.
Hello, love. Hello, Jack.
Hello, boys and girls. And hello, Barbara. Today we're going to give you a story, an old Irish legend that took place many, many years ago not far away from here. And it concerns a very famous chieftain called Laurus. And Laurus lived in a wooden castle. They built of wood in those days, on top of a hill not far from here. And he had very long hair, much longer now than my hair, and people wondered why his hair was so long, but nobody questioned that. He was, after all, the chieftain. And once a year a barber was sent for, and the chieftain got the hair cut. Now, not cut too much to show his ears, that never happened, and there was a reason for that. And the barber was then sent away, or we don't know, might even have been killed, but the barber was never seen again. Can you imagine that? So the barber was never seen again. And one year there was no barber to be found. And the word went out that Laurus's hair needed to be cut. And a young man who lived not far from here, he lived in the middle of woods like these. He was a young guy, he loved the woods. He said, "I'll do it. I'll cut the chieftain's hair." And people whom he knew and his friends and his family said, don't, because if you do that, you're going to disappear. None of the barbers have ever been seen again. He said, I'll give it a try anyway. So up he marches to the chieftain's castle. He's let in. He's brought to a dark room where the chieftain is sitting in a nice chair. And the chieftain says, you come to cut my hair? I will do that, said the young man. Now anything you see you must keep an absolute secret. Don't tell anyone what you see, okay? And as the man cut the chieftain's hair, he saw the chieftain had the ears of a donkey, not ordinary ears like mine or like yours, but the ears of a donkey underneath his hair. Oh my God! You know, if this gets out, he'll be deposed. Somebody will say you're not fit to be a chieftain. And so he did the cutting, and the chieftain then said, now remember, you must never tell anyone ever what you have seen when you're cutting my hair. He's let out, and people out of the castle, and people say, oh my goodness, you're actually here? You weren't sent away? You weren't killed? So he goes home, and weeks and months go by, and he can't get out of his head what he saw. The donkey's ears on the chieftain, under his hair. But he said, I can't tell anyone. But maybe anyone. What about telling something that's not a person? So he goes into the forest, where he knows the forest very well, and he comes to one of the great trees, a tree like this one that you see, and he put his arms around the tree and he whispered to the tree, King Laurus, they sometimes called him King Laurus has donkey's ears, King Laurus has donkey's ears. He was so relieved. He went away home thinking, that's grand, now he's okay. But a little bit later, the chieftain Laurus loved music, and he sent for his harper. And the harper told him, well, look, my harp's getting a bit old. I'd like a new harp. So the harp maker was sent out into the forest to find a nice piece of timber. And as luck would have it, or ill luck would have it, he chanced upon this tree. And one of the big branches was the right shape and size for a harp. So it was cut down, brought into the castle and fashioned into a harp. And it was placed before the chieftain, and as soon as the strings were plucked, the harp sang out, King Laurus has donkey's ears, King Laurus has donkey's ears. Well, there was murder and consternation. And the young lad who had cut the chieftain's hair, long since gone, he was gone away to a foreign land somewhere. He was safe enough. But the chieftain said, I'll have every tree cut down around here. And he did that. And that is why on some hills in Ireland there are almost no trees left. That was a long time ago. Other parts of the country we still have some beautiful trees, like you see here. It's Atiu Delius, Atiu Visiums, Visa Garo,
Iki
Patimissum, Patimissimo, Sekmes.
Sickness.
The girl sat on a stump, as if enchanted, and listened to the stories given to her from the heights of the sky. They took her back to a time when ancient fairies lit altars in the very depths of the forest to pray to their gods. There was no internet that day, but Barbora was no longer sad about it. Instead, she was happy. After all, it's not every day we get the opportunity to touch ancient legends.